Hello everyone, welcome to the part 4 session of the R programming. In today's session, we will learn about the built-in datasets, how to read and write a CSV file, and perform various operations on the built-in dataset, and the CSV file that we loaded into the R environment. Let's start with the built-in dataset in R. R has many built-in datasets that are freely available for learning purpose, and some of them that are widely used are the empty cars dataset, the iris, tooth growth, plant growth, and US arrests. For this session, we will use the empty car dataset. It is a motor trend car road test dataset. This dataset was extracted from the 1947 Motor Trend US magazine, and it comprises fuel consumption and 10 aspects of automobile design and performance for the 32 automobiles for 1973 and 1974 car models. Let's move on and understand the empty car datasets in Rstudio. Okay, now let's see what are the built-in datasets that are available in R and how to check how to do the help on that dataset. So help into the brackets package equal to dataset. This will give me all the information related to the built-in datasets that are present in R environment. So this is the list where all the datasets are present. All this is the built-in datasets in R. Next is the data function. This will list the available datasets. So once we execute it, it will give you the list of all the datasets that are present. You can scroll down and check the dataset and its information. Now this is the link. You can access this link and it will also give you the same information that is present over here, that is in the browser based, and this will have the information about all the datasets that are present in our environment in a browser format. So you can click on any of the dataset. It will give you the information about the description, the usage, format, from where you got that dataset, and some of the examples that are present in that particular dataset. Now let's see. The dataset that we are going to use today is the Motor Trend Car Road Test. Let's do the help on this dataset. So in the help section, you will find the description about the dataset, that is empty cars, its format, what are the observations, the source, and one of the examples that are there in the help section. Now the next command is attach. This attach will attach a dataset in our path. This next is the detach. Detach is the reverse function of the attach process. It will just detach the dataset from the R environment. Next command is data. Data will load the dataset. Data was originally intended to allow users to load dataset from the packages for use in their examples, and such as it loads the dataset in the workspace. So this is the workspace where this particular empty cars data will be loaded. Now the next command is head. Head will give you the first several rows of matrix or data frame. You can see the first a few observations using the head command. So by default, it will give me the first 6 rows of that particular dataset. So this is printing the first 6 rows of the empty car dataset. Now let's see, we want to print the first 10 rows of that particular dataset. So I will use head command, head with empty cars as the object name, and then comma 10. 10 will give me the number of observations that we want to print. So this is giving me 10 observations, first 10 observations of the empty car dataset. Now let's move on and see what is tail. The tail command is used to obtain the last several rows. This function may be used to be applied to obtain the first or last values in vector. So head and tail can be used to obtain first values or the last values of the vectors as well. So if I press tail empty cars, it will give me the last observations, last 6 observations of the empty car data set. Moving forward, the next command that we have is str. str is a compact way to display the structure of an R object. This allows you to use str as a diagnostic function and an alternative to a summary. str will output the information on one of the line for each basic structure. str is used for displaying the contents of the list as well. So let's see how we perform str function on empty cars. When I do the str function on empty cars, it will give me what type of that object is. So empty car is a data frame and it has 32 observations of 11 variables. 11 variables means there are 11 columns. So these are the different variables: mpg, cylinder, display, hp, rad, weight, qsec. All these are different variables that are present in this particular data set, and it will also give the data type of that particular variable. So mpg has a numerical data type. Similarly, all the information about the other data types, and it also gives some related information to that particular data type, or the variable. So every line will have a column name, the data type of that column, and few observations in that column. So structure str will give the structure of my object, R object. Moving forward, the next command is dim. Dim is the dim function of the R programming language, returns the dimensions of that R object. So dimensions means number of observations and number of variables that are present in that particular data set. So in my data set, wherein in empty cars we have 32 observations, that is, these are the number of rows, and 11 variables, that is number of columns in that particular data set. The next command is names. Names is a generic accessor function to the names attribute of an R object, typically a vector. After executing names, it will give me all the information related to the vector or the column names in that particular data set. Similarly, if I want to know what are the columns that are present in that particular data set, I can use column names or col names and that data set name. So it will give me it will display all the list of columns that are present or the variables that are present in that particular data set. Now let's see what is summary. A summary is a generic function used to produce results, summarize of the results of various model fitting functions. So when you do summary on any dataset or R object, it will look like this. It will give a summary of each and every variable or each and every column, and that summary includes the minimum observation, first quartile, median, mean, third quartile, and the maximum observation that is present in that particular column. Similarly, it will give the description of all the other columns in the summary section. So this is how summary looks like in Rstudio. The next command that we're going to see is nrow. Nrow is a function that returns the number of rows that are present in a data frame or in a matrix. So as we know that there are 32 observations or number of rows in this empty car data set. Now let's see how to read and write a CSV file in R programming. So to write a CSV file, we have to first check what is the working directory that I'm using in this R workspace. To check the working directory, I'm using a command getwd. The getwd command will give me the present working directory. So this is my present working directory for this Rstudio. Now if I want, say example, if I want to change the working directory and I want to assign some new directory structure, or I've created a new folder, I will set that working directory using the set wd command. The set wd command will set up a new working directory. Now once the new working directory is set up, to check whether that working directory is set up properly or not, I can again execute the get working directory, and I will see that what is the present working directory and whether that the set command has worked fine or not. Now let's see how to read a CSV file in the RStudio environment. In this particular directory structure, I have a CSV file named salary.csv. So this is my CSV file. This is my CSV file. It has some columns or variables like name, age, years with company, gender, work type, and salary. And these are some different observations under this variables in the CSV file, that is salary.csv. Now let's see how to read this file in our environment. So this is the instance, this is the name that I'm giving to I'm creating an object called as data. I'm using the function read.csv, and into the brackets in quotes I'm giving the directory structure where that salary.csv is saved, and I will, whatever file name that is present in that directory that I want to read, I will mention that as salary.csv. This will read the CSV file in the R environment. Once you read that file, that object will be there in the global environment section. Once you click on data, you will see that these are the different information that is present for that particular R object which was assigned to that particular CSV file. So name, age, years with company, gender, work type, and salary. And to have a look at it, let's check over here. It has 59 observations and 6 variables. So it has 59 number of rows that are 59, and it has 6 different columns in this particular CSV file. So once I have loaded the CSV file in the R environment, let's perform few basic functions that we already tried on empty cars. Now to see the first few rows of this particular CSV file, that is a data object, we will use the head command. So head command will give me the first 6 rows or the first 6 observations of that CSV file. Tail will give me the last few several rows of that data. Column names, it will give me the names of the columns or the variables that are present in that particular data set. str will give me the structure of that data set. So structure means it will have all the structural information like 59 observations and number of columns. That are 6 variables, and the variable name. Now over here, the column name, the name is assigned as a factor. It has different names. And age, it is assigned as an integer, as the numeric, it's a numeric value. Similarly, the column name, its data type, and some of the observations that are present in that particular column. This is the way we can read any kind of a CSV file in our environment. Now once we perform few operations and we want to write anything to a CSV file, so in that case we will see how to write anything in a CSV file. Now I have a data set or a data frame which is called as empty cars. Now let's see what is the type of that empty cars. So first thing is, if you want to write anything in a CSV file, it should be in a proper rows and columns format. So that's the reason we are checking the type of that dataset or the empty cars object. So empty car object is a data frame. So it is a data frame is in a rows and columns format. Now I want to write this data frame in a CSV file. So the syntax is write.csv into the brackets empty car. This is the object name, comma, in quotes, this will be the name of the CSV file that we are going to create in the directory structure, that is the present working directory. So this is the R object. This is the new name of the CSV file that we are going to create. Once I execute this command, it will create a CSV file in the working directory that we have already mentioned. So let's see. Yes, this is the new data that we created. This is the CSV file that automatically get created by this write.csv. Now once I open this new underscore CSV, it will have the information about the empty cars dataset. So this is the way we can create, or we can write, we can read anything from CSV, or we can write anything into the CSV. That's all for today's session. Hope you find it interesting. In the next session, we will see what are control structures like if else, for loops, while loops, repeat, next, and break statements. So stick around guys, we will see you in the next session. If you like my training session, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications of my new sessions. This will support and motivate my channel. Thank you.